Half a day and welcome to the Weekend Edition. I'm Adriana Cotero. Glad you could join us. 31-year-old Tanya Lynn Cruz Charfres was arrested after police searched her purse and found suspected meth. Charfres was a passenger in a vehicle that was pulled over in Hagåtña on October 14th. Court documents state a man was driving the vehicle and a child was in the back seat. Police asked to search the woman's purse and she consented. Court documents state that in a case that they found 3 clear plastic baggies containing suspected meth, 3 syringes, and 1 clear straw containing suspected meth. They also found a pair of silver scissors and 1 roll of tape. Police noticed abrasions on Charfres' inner elbow, which she identified as marks from injecting meth diluted with water. Noise complaints, a hotel room in disarray, and 1 unruly guest. 35-year-old Diane Estella was arrested for the 2nd time in 2 weeks after allegedly renting and trashing a hotel room in Tumon. When police entered the room, they noted it was in disarray with mirrors defaced and permanent marker. According to court documents, the damage was estimated to be around $500. When Estella was interviewed, she told police she was a Freemason and couldn't be arrested. And when she was handcuffed, she allegedly began yelling that she was being raped and that rape is illegal. In court documents, Estella was noted as being difficult when she was handcuffed, refusing to sit properly in the police cruiser, blocking officers from closing the door with her legs. She then tried to flee after being taken out of the cruiser and before being put into a holding cell. Estella was charged with 1 count of resisting arrest and 1 count of criminal mischief. On September 30th, police were called to a different hotel room in Tumon where Estella was accused of damaging property and also being unruly. In that case, she also allegedly offered police money and sex to be released from custody. In other news, Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio reports back from his trip to the United Nations. Here's more.
The U.S. was founded out of colonies, and it's not supposed to have colonies, and it's struggling. It doesn't know how to deal with the fact that they have colonies.
Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio describing the gist of his testimony at the United Nations during his aggressive federal mission. Tenorio, several senators, and petitioners from local activist groups and independent Guam, all unified in their message requesting a UN visiting delegation come to Guam.
It's complicated because I think on the Committee on 24, you have the Cuban government, the Venezuelan government, the Syrian government that, are enemies of the United States. So, on top of that, they're going to have to deal with visa issues and whether or not they're willing to have that kind of foreign presence on the soil.
Tenorio says the federal government should put aside issues it may have with UN Decolonization Committee nation members to show Guam it's committed to moving the process to change our political status forward.
If the U.S. wanted to be transparent about it, then it would make sense for them to have a visiting mission.
Lieutenant Governor Tenorio also pushing the idea of a UN seminar in the region or even on island to hear Guam's decolonization concerns. While Tenorio says representatives from Guam have been consistent, we've also been met with a different kind of consistency from the United States.
For the last 40 years, we've been consistent that we've been wanting to change our political status and improve it. And I'm just hoping, and I told the U.S. ambassador that there doesn't seem to be the will or attention at the highest levels of our federal government to deal with Guam decolonization and Guam political status.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
The cause of a fire that took place back in September at the Gresco warehouse in Agate, in which several units from the Guam Fire Department and Navy Fire responded to, has been determined, according to GFD spokesperson firefighter Kevin Riley.
Our investigators found out that some rags, some flammable pieces of material were left by the incinerator and caught fire, causing it to burn.
As we reported, it was on the evening of September 11th when a passerby reported a dark plume of smoke coming from the structure. The fire was brought under control about an hour and a half later. Thankfully, there were no reports of injuries. October is Red Ribbon Month, and this year's theme is Send a Message, Stay Drug-Free. Here's more on what is being done locally to raise awareness about the dangers of drug abuse.
Red Ribbon Week is a national event remembering the life of Enrique Kiki Camarena, a former DEA agent who was kidnapped and murdered by drug traffickers in Guadalajara, Mexico back in 1985. Edward Talbot is a resident agent in charge for Guam and Saipan.
Through a grassroots effort, through a congressman in San Diego and people from his high school, they began wearing red ribbons And then ultimately, through support of Nancy Reagan and the National Family Partnership, it really took hold in 1988, and here we are today.
On October 1st, a proclamation ceremony was held at St. Anthony Catholic School, declaring October as Red Ribbon Month and October 23rd through the 31st as Red Ribbon Week on Island. The campaign is the oldest and largest drug prevention campaign in the country.
In partnership with the Red Ribbon community, which encompasses local and federal entities, law enforcement, and others, they're going through the Department of Education on Guam and visiting elementary, middle, and high schools to get the message out about staying drug-free.
Talbot says that the committee recently wrapped up outreach with about 11 elementary schools, and this week they'll make their way to the middle schools that have signed up.
Guam does a great job because we do it the entire month, and it really gets the message out to the kids. We were just, I was in Saipan yesterday and visited Dan Dan Middle School, had a great turnout. The kids were great and they were excited, and we believe it's an important message to keep them informed and drug-free.
He adds that this type of message is ideal to get out at schools because these are their formative years.
With young kids and juveniles, what they're exposed to, especially today's day and age, right? Social media, and there's good and bad with that, but it's a constant cycle of 24/7 inundation of information.
As for a message Talbot has for the island community,
stay drug-free, get the message out, talk to your kids, talk to their teachers and their counselors and their principals, community leaders. It's a community effort. We can't do it alone. We couldn't do this without the Guam Red Ribbon Committee or the CNMI Red Ribbon Committee, because that truly is a community effort, and we believe that is part of staying drug-free.
reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Jonah Goncharfris.
A group of passionate Guam Islanders rediscovering and reviving Chamorro seafaring skills made sure wood from an old fallen tree was put to good use. Our Joan Goncharfris has more.
It was on August 8th of this year when an old tree snapped and fell, damaging 4 cars in the Hagåtña Bank of Guam parking lot. Thankfully, no one was injured. President of Ulitao Incorporated, Jeff Kitugwa, says news of the incident was being shared with him via WhatsApp.
After several minutes later, about 20-30 minutes later, we're like, hey, what are they going to do with the tree? And we're always out looking for native trees here on the island so that we can utilize it for our canoe building.
Kitugwa said he reached out to the bank and they welcomed the group to retrieve whatever they needed.
It was a great opportunity and a great partnership with Bank of Guam, and we thank them so much for that.
The tree, known locally as Dauk, is valued for its wood, which is hard, strong, and cross-grained, and very hard to split. According to Guamology.com, it was used for solid wheels of the carts drawn by Carabao back in the day.
The dog trees are known for many uses, and one of its use was incorporated into the canoe building in our historic times, I guess. And so we're just now, with this, we're really learning on how to utilize it and what it could be best for. So it's just the grain, how the grain of that wood is set, so that from there we can figure out what part of the canoe will be best to use in for that strength for the canoe.
The wood is durable in water, and the branches furnish excellent knees for boats. First thing the group needed to do was assess the wood.
At first we were thinking it would make a great hull for the canoe, and then we were like, we wanted to make use of it and prolong the use of the material. So we ended up cutting it into planks. We're using those planks we were creating some paddles for it. As you can see, some of them you can tell the newer ones, the 4 faded ones are from the wood, the dog wood, and then the rest of the planks that we're using, we're going to use it for parts of the canoe, which is ideal for, just to make sure everything is intact. So it's like the splash guards and the seats are what we will be using it for.
He adds that the tree of this size is a great find and one that the group will make good use of.
Many of our native trees are not as abundant as many years ago, because of everything that's growing on our island.
To learn more about Ulitao, or if you have any tree on your property you wish to donate, you can reach out via their Facebook or Instagram page.
If there's a native tree in their yard, it's a nuisance that they want to just remove because they're going to develop their property or because it's getting too close to the electrical lines. We want to try to utilize these woods and make use of it, give it a purpose with the culture.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Jonagan Charfris.
Thank you, Joan. And stay tuned. Next on Weekend Edition, we have trend spotting and still to come, the Guam Crime Stoppers Report.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Matson is in this community. We've been in this community for decades. We're gonna be in this community for decades to come. Things will get busy, things will get quiet, but we're gonna be here. We're your hometown carrier. And that matters to us.
Reliability is the core of our business. We take pride in ensuring that we arrive in Guam on time as scheduled.
It's our local employees who understand the market, who understand the business, and provide that hard work for you each and every day.
When we hold ourselves to high standards, our customers also hold us to high standards. We establish good business relationships that turn into friendships. That's why it's so important to be here and be trusted by your customers. We want you to trust Matson like your friend, like your family.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
From Simon Sanchez to the University of Guam, more students are making sure their voices are heard. More up next on
Trend Spotting!
Half-a-day, everyone. I'm Cami Aguirola, and welcome back to another episode of Trend Spotting. Here are the topics that had you talking this week, starting with UOG students protesting the tuition hike. Many students opted to walk out of class at the University of Guam to protest a proposed measure that would fast-track a 30% tuition hike. The pressure was on, and the University of Guam Board of Regents backed off from its initial tuition increase proposal. In a packed meeting, board members modified their plan for a 30% hike, saying they heard the concerns of the students.
After a long discussion, we decided to allow the president to determine the fees as needed, but no more than 10%, starting not this semester, but next semester.
Last Friday, the university held a public hearing on a plan to increase tuition by 10% over the next 3 semesters. Students reacted strongly to the proposal, saying basically, too much, too soon. In a standing room only meeting to ratify the proposal, board members opted to amend it. In a statement, UOG President Christ said, "Our students let their voices be known, and we heard them loud and clear." More than 100 walked out of their classes just before the board meeting in a show of protest. On Instagram, users voiced their opinions in the comments. At BYMSE said, "Sorry students, sometimes when you want something, you have to pay more for it. Like anything else, cars, homes, and even tuition, UOG is like any other operation that makes money to cover costs, and when you can't cover costs, something else has to give. You can always attend universities off-island. I graduated in 2004, but I'm sure our tuition costs are more affordable than any West Coast university, including Hawaii." At Angel.Guam said, "Maybe UOG should start by lowering the salaries of the administrators, program directors, etc. Some officials make double the amount of professors, who hold doctorate degrees and actually impact the students firsthand." Another Instagram user said, "If this wasn't enough for our debt, then that's the elected leader's fault. You need to know that it's the students first, not the school or anybody. We're not promised here for your money. It's our future education. Think about your next future children." At C Medina 888 said, "No university should suddenly raise fees 30%. That is mismanagement at its best. No question that the university should have seen this coming, the government of Guam and the trustees of the university. It is all of their collective responsibility to manage university finances and take action early on. What did they plan for 3 years ago? What was the plan 2 years ago or last year? There's no question that those shortfalls were obvious and they did nothing, and in no way can they expect students and families to make up for that kind of increase."
The spirit is broken by this senseless and heinous act.
At the request of the FSM Department of Foreign Affairs, FBI agents from Guam flew to Yap to provide investigative assistance in the alleged murder of Yap Acting Attorney General Rochelle Bergeron. According to Yap State Governor Henry Falan, Bergeron was shot on Monday after returning home after work that day. On Facebook, people extended their condolences to the Bergeron family. Guam Attorney General Levin Camacho says, "We are saddened by the loss of a member of the Attorney General community. We respect there is an ongoing investigation and stand ready to assist our local law enforcement counterparts in any way possible should it be needed." Here are some words from the state of Yap's Governor Henry S. Falan.
As Governor of the state of Yap, I promise to do everything in my power to have justice prevail and restore civility into our society.
The long-delayed reconstruction of Simon Sanchez High School could get back on track soon. Officials have pledged $4 million to pay for the next phase of architectural and engineering design, and there is even hope of actually breaking ground next year to begin rebuilding the 45-year-old school. It was announced at a press conference that felt more like a student pep rally. Apparently, it was organized by the Shark faithful to urge the governor and the Department of Education officials to figure out the funding that will get the rebuilding going again. Superintendent John Fernandez had asked the governor for $7.1 million from the anticipated $20+ million revenue surplus, but the governor has already said any excess money would go toward deficit reduction. She made it clear today that of the $4 million needed for the next phase of the rebuilding project, $1.1 million would come from federal CIP funding, and the other $2.9 million GDOE said it already has.
And it's really in his authority and his purview and to move forward the building of Simon Sanchez. By law, he has been given that authority.
We've got to move forward one way or the other. So I need to be able to get the governor's support, the board's support to allocate funding for that school right off the top. And we'll deal with the consequences later. So that means that if spending this money up front is going to make it tighter later in the fiscal year, we'll deal with that, working with the governor and the legislature.
In her letter to Fernandez, the governor says the funding should be clear, and so is a request for a proposal that can be issued right away for the next phase. Last week, unleashing frustrations on Facebook to FaceTime at Automotive today. A meeting between Guam delegate Michael San Nicolas and Governor Lou Leon Guerrero just wrapped up at Automotive. The meeting comes after tensions between the two centering mostly on Automotive's efforts to lobby for support of San Nicolas's H.R. 1365 in Washington, D.C., and the governor's Local War Claims Effort Bill 181, which San Nicolas said is jeopardizing passage of his measure. Just last week, Congressman blasted Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio and Automotive Chief of Staff Tony Babauta for pretending to do his job, while they were in D.C. lobbying for 1365. Right from the start, Congressman was upset about the governor's efforts to continue her push for the bill. The governor said she's made an effort to work together and expects the same from him. San Nicolas, however, continued to oppose her efforts to push through the local bill because of the confusion it will cause in Washington, D.C., with his efforts and that he is the congressman. While watching the KUAM live stream of the meeting, Facebook users had open discussions in the comments. AJ Taisugui said, "Lou needs to let the man speak. He gave her the courtesy. She needs to stop speaking over him." Top fan Richard San Nicolas said, "This should have been day one stuff. They are even in the same party. But they were so salty Madeline didn't win re-election, it's been nothing but a smear circus. The people elected MSN, get over it. Madeline can't even do what she's being paid to do in D.C. Lou has to send the lieutenant governor." Another Facebook, Robert D. Camacho, said, "Coming to the table is the first step in working together. It may not be perfect, but at the very least there is an effort. That counts for something. When it comes to politics or any type of leadership governing, it is a debate of ideas and methods to get things done. Everything takes time and effort. I give them huge credit for at least being civil enough to meet and try and iron things out. We need to remember our Chamorro custom of inafat maulit." In a reply to Robert D. Camacho, Chris Abulentia said she wasn't that civil. Based on her remarks, it seemed like it was her way or the highway. We put up a poll on our Instagram asking if you believe Bill 181 will hurt HR 1365. That's all for this week. Siduos Maasi for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Advances in technique and medications used to prevent dental pain have shattered the myth that a dental visit is something to fear. Even the dreaded root canal or wisdom tooth extraction. Swabbing or spraying a topical numbing agent on before the injection, and using different techniques and anesthetics can create a relatively comfortable or pain-free injection. Injections are often the most feared procedure. Some patients don't like the sounds or the vibrations of decay removal. If you're still nervous or you gag easy, despite these techniques, very safe oral medicines can be taken before your dental appointment to eliminate all fears, or some clinics use nitrous oxide gas. Pain relievers can easily be prescribed to eliminate mild to severe dental discomfort after any visit. For your helpful dental minute, I'm Dr. Kenny Bourgeois of Paradise Smiles. We shall never know all the good that a simple smile can do.
In just a couple of weeks, there are going to be ghouls, goblins, and ghosts roaming the island streets, but there are also going to be Guamanians, and that's what each of us are, and we protect our neighbors. We look out for each other. No one knows that better than Sergeant Paul Tapau with GPD. Welcome back, Sarge.
Hey, off for day.
Okay. You always tell us each and every year that Halloween is a really, really dicey time for people like in security and law enforcement because it is something that like young people celebrate, but you know, there's people in their 20s, you know, who get kind of nutty on that night too. So how do we stay safe?
Yeah, you know, I want to start first with the kiddies, you know. I mean, I think it's
and
important.
you're a parent.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important as a parent and, you know, reaching out to our fellow parents who are out there who plan for the festivities. It really starts with being seen and being safe. You know, start practicing that slogan throughout the Halloween activities because of the fact that kids are going to be roaming at night, and what better way than to be safe is to actually be seen. So, you know, whatever devices you have, whether it be a glow stick, you know, in Chamorro we call it flashlight, but, you know, the common term is flashlight. So any reflective devices.
Chem stick, bro?
Chem stick, you know, you can use those, but, you know, the main focus is just to be seen. So, you know, we want to start off with the parents and understanding that this should be your priority, and then start talking to your kids about how to prepare for that.
Mm-hmm. Now, with the little kids themselves, I know you go out to schools and you talk, and you know, kids get so excited for Halloween because they're like, man, I'm going to hang out with my friends. I'm going to get all this candy. I'm really excited about my costume. But you even say, you tell them as part of your costumes, hey, dress up as Iron Man, dress up as Frozen, you know, be a dragon, be a ghost, be whatever you want to be, but carry that glow stick because that is very, very important, and it doesn't ruin your costume.
Yeah, the glow stick, some people have actually gone on to sewing on reflective tape onto their costume so that, you know, it gets dicey for motorists out there because of the fact you have flocks of pedestrians trying to cross, trying to get to the other side, trying to get the best candy. But, you know, the glow stick is fashionable. A lot of people have gone on to develop, you know, some more. I saw on Facebook where the entire costume is neon reflective glow stick. So, you know, that's the first step in preparation for Halloween, is making sure that your costume or your little goblin can actually be seen by motorists. You know, try it out. You know, just put an object in front, put the glow stick or the chem light in front, or you know, and see what works best.
Make safety fun for the kids.
It is. You know, having them hold the flashlight and telling them this is your lifesaver, Luke. You know, Luke, here you go.
Exactly.
You know? And I have them play with it. It really is. You know, an opportunity for the kids to practice safety. And you know, when they have the flashlight, you know, two things. It helps, you know, provide lighting to where you're walking, most especially because, you know, some areas on this island, you know, our street lamps are not functional. So, you know, the flashlights actually come in handy, and that's really important because, you know, you want to watch where you're walking too, because, you know, some trips and falls associated with the costumes that you're wearing. And, you know, through the week we'll talk more about safety and preparation for Halloween. You know, it's October 31st is a Thursday, and you know, it's that time where we're going to see in the Guam Police Department heavy foot traffic in our villages, and of course, you know, traffic throughout the island as people want to go about their day or their night and ensuring that, you know, it's celebrated, you know, in a joyous fashion.
Okay, Sarge, well, let's go ahead and crank out Crime of the Week because when we come back, I want to talk about what people can do if they're hosting Halloween parties and everything. So what do you got for this week?
This week is a burglary that happened up at, or down at the village of Zonia, M.U. Lujan Elementary School. You know, the kids were victims of a burglary, so please, if anybody has any information, submit a tip online, you know, and help the students at M.U. Lujan, you know, really bring justice to what had happened to their school.
Okay, Joni is a wonderful village, so let's help the people down there find that justice. Here's what you need to know.
The Guam Crime Stoppers and the Guam Police Department is seeking the help from the community relative to a burglary complaint that occurred at MU Lujan Elementary School in Zonyo. Now, the preliminary police report suggests that on October 7, at around 7 o'clock in the morning, officers from the Hagatner Precinct Command responded to the school relative to 6 classrooms being broken into over the weekend. Now, the preliminary police report suggests that 6 classrooms were broken into over the weekend. Now, the Guam Crime Stoppers is reaching out to the community for their help relative to this case. If you have any information about this case, please call the Guam Crime Stoppers at 477-HELP or text 688-STOP. You can also visit our webpage at www.guam.crimestoppersweb.com or call the Guam Police Department at 475-8615, 6 or 7. Guam Crime Stoppers wants to remind the public that we do not use caller ID and you do not have to leave your name. You can receive a cash reward of up to $1,000 if the information provided leads to the arrest and conviction for the person or persons responsible for this crime or any other crime.
Okay, so I want to talk now about people who are homeowners, right? They may be hosting Halloween parties, but in particular, people that are just passing out candy, right? Can we talk about what they should do as far as lighting, if they have a dog, or some sort of pet, or, do they have to wait all the way inside the house, or can they even, wait outside in the yard, with a launcher?
Yeah, the driveway, really, as a homeowner, if you're going to be passing out treats, assure that your home is welcoming. Assure that there's no obstacles that may cause trips and falls. Because people are going to be, you're going to see an influx of pedestrians walking up to your driveway. So, really, to eliminate that, what you have inside your property, come out of the furthest part of your property. Set up the table outside so that you can actually catch the kids, the ghouls and goblins as they're actually making their way to the sidewalk. It makes it easier. One thing people don't understand is that you pose a liability when you invite people into your home and something should happen. You're technically responsible for their safety and security too. So that's
legally that's on you as a homeowner, right?
Absolutely. Okay. So that's one thing to consider. If there's anything your vehicles that you usually park along the sidewalk area or along your driveway, move it and find a parking that's accessible to frees up people from coming in and out so that they don't have to be darting in through parked cars and everything. So, it really starts with you just looking and seeing where you can provide safety with the little kids, because the fact that they're going to be walking and the less obstacles that's in front of them, the better they are in staying safe. But, proper lighting is always important too. I know people decorate their homes to try to scare the wits out of the kids, but, the proper lighting helps to prevent trips and falls and everything. But your home should be welcoming, and really addressing that is it's incumbent upon the homeowner to ensure that kids, parents, or just passerbys who are walking through and from your home, they don't get into an accident.
Now, what about slippery driveways? Because some people, it has been the rainy season. Some people, they may have not water blasted in a couple of years and everything like that. That turf can be somewhat slippery, so you might want to water blast in the next couple of weeks. Right?
Concrete on algae and everything, and slips and falls have happened. So really, it's just planning what you want, and having a vision about how you want to, if really the intent of the homeowners to provide happiness, and joy and everything to the Halloween goers and everything, you got to make sure that you do your part, and making sure that your home is welcoming for the influx of foot traffic that is expected your way. So small things to consider can really make a big difference in assuring the safety of the kids for that night.
All right. So I know with Halloween coming up, we're going to talk to you a few more times about how to stay safe on island. So we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me.
All right. And we'll see you on the flip side of this break.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
It is the spirit within us, our soul, our essence that drives us to seek a better way, to create beauty and enrich the senses, to inspire fulfilling lives, to be at one with our earth and protect those who we love. Only by taking on challenges do we change the world for the better.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
It's time for some weekend birthdays, so happy birthday number 6 to Sarah. This is coming from your entire family. They say they love you so, so much. Lawrence Flores, happy super sour 16 Jimmy. Coming from Papa George, Grandma Mary, your mom, and your entire family. They say they love you. And Channing Barnett, happy birthday number 9 Boboy from the entire family. We love you so much, Boboy. Happy birthday to everybody.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and birthday. That's all the time we have from all of us here at Guam's News Network. Thank you for watching and have a safe weekend.